Anyway, guys, hope everybody's doing well today. I know we got a lot of new members in since I was gone on vacation, I guess these past 2 weeks. If you guys got any questions, we want to welcome all you guys in here today. But every Sunday night at 8 p.m., we do a live market review. And this is, in a sense, to kind of cover over what stocks we're looking at for the week, what potential plays are kind of setting up, what's kind of, what kind of looks strong, and so to speak, as far as on a weekly basis. Now it changes obviously every week, so we like to kind of cover this stuff and get on top of it, so there is no confusion come Monday morning. And I'm going through my watch list every morning, and I'm trying to find the ones that are ready. So just because we cover all the ones tonight, or particular stocks, doesn't mean it's ready tomorrow morning. Doesn't mean it's ready Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, whatever. But they look potential for this week. So, but as they become ready, timing is everything when it comes to options trading. So when the timing looks like it's right for that morning, I'm going to post it up in the alert section of the Discord. So there is no confusion. It's up here in the watch list. We break it down, where the stock looks like a particular break, and then we'll play a certain contracts with it, and the price targets we're looking to exit, and so on. So I hope you guys understand how that is. If you got your little video that gets sent in your message every time a new member signs up. But if you got any questions on this, feel free to holler at me or one of the admins in the chat room. We're more than happy to try to cover that for you. But I try to make it as simple as possible so you guys can kind of prepare yourself to play a particular stock if it looks like it's ready for the morning. Not all of these decide to take off in the morning. Some of these will actually decide to take off in the afternoon, or not even take off that day at all. Like, they may open up with some market weakness instead of strength, even though it looked like it was going to be strength in the pre-market. So things can change, but I try to get the best looking ones in pre-market that look ready to pop, and there's plenty of reward versus the risk factor in it. So you guys can kind of play along. Many of the lists every single day that we do this definitely make really good gains, really good potential plays. So definitely put it up there on your screen if you guys are monitoring it, and you want to look for those particular areas to break on the chart. So like Blink, it needs to break 47.12. This is obviously on Thursday's watch list, but you want to see Blink break the chart at 47.12, and you want to at least have a 2 or 5 minute candle to close or finish forming above that certain price point. And then you play a $50 call that expires January 15th. They're roughly $4.20 a contract. And then you're going to be looking for these resistance points, which I consider them as price targets. So you kind of want to play that move. Futu was a really good one we had on Friday, or Thursday, I mean, with New Year's. But on Thursday, Futu was really good. The options were really cheap on that one. You guys go and look at Futu. We're going to actually cover that one again today because I think it still has potential this week. But as you see that move on Futu right there, it literally broke that point, 42.98. And you go back to the watch list here. I was looking for it to break 44.10. So give it actually a little more leeway on this. So 44.10 was right here. Okay, it looks like we were actually gapped up in pre-market. So breaking right there, I felt a little more stronger due to these little resistance points that we want to break 44.10, and then start looking for this price target, this price target, these price targets, and so on after it breaks that entry. So you get an entry on strength as we're playing calls. You want to have that strength. You want to have options are different. You can't play them just like a stock. So you gotta play them with strength that it's in demand. It's like a betting slip that you think, oh, this stock is going to make a move in my direction. So I want to place my betting slip that I'm betting it to move higher, and I'm going to start looking for these key areas to see much higher. So that 44.10 was definitely entry point right there. It looks like we opened just below it right here. Green candles open at the bottom, red candles open at the top, and close at the bottom, close at the top. But this is right here where we opened. We broke that area right there. I could probably throw this back down on like a 2-minute chart here, and you guys can kind of see a little bit more of the action. But 44.10 would have been, okay, right there. Pretty much after the first, candles? Let's see here. This is 44.10. So that would have been our entry point first thing in the morning. We did gap up and then push all the way down and fill the gap and then push back up. So 44.10 is our entry point. And then you got to, as soon as you enter this play, you got to know, you got to have a strategy or a plan to exit the play. Okay. There is no such thing with these options that you just buy them and hang on to them for, all day long or days on end, unless you get it, a specific contract designed to be, plenty of expiration time. You can risk the chance of it, taking its time, so to speak, to finally get there in that favor. So as you see right here, we've got a price targets are all the way up through here, and I chart these out off that daily chart. And as you see right here on Food 2, we were playing the $45 calls, January 15th expiration. They were roughly $2.08 a contract in pre-market. We're going to look for price target number 45.10, 45.97, 46.51, and so on right there. So going over the chart right here, we hit price target 45.10 right there. We hit 45.96, 46.51, 47.30, and hell, we hit all the way up here to 47.84, which was actually a price target 5 had I put a 5 in there instead. But for so far, entry is definitely right there. Breaking entry, and then it hit literally all 3 or all 4 price targets, and it could have been a 5 in there for 47.84, which we actually got a little shy of up here at the top. But the next price target I had right here was it 45.27 or 47.27? Yeah, right here. So you literally got out. Had you hit and got out completely out of your trade at the very 4th price target, you would have been just short of it actually hitting the tippy top, and of course you would have got this whole range boundness afterwards. So 47.29 was price target, or 47.28 price target number 4. We literally hit 47.28. You would have been literally 2 candles shy of the tippy top. That's not too bad. That's nothing too bad to complain about. Obviously, we could have tried to play the 47.84 if I had put that one in there for the 5th price target. But in the sense, there's more than enough move on that move to enter right there and exit completely on the price target 4 there. So anyway, I hope you guys kind of understand it. Like I said, if you got questions, it all has to do with how I do my own charting, how I can kind of prepare myself to play the day. A lot of those alerts that I put out there definitely makes it playable, that you guys can kind of play with. I play them myself. I don't play all of them. Just depends on how good they look after the market opens. Sometimes it's best to wait like 30 minutes. Sometimes people wait an hour before they want to play stuff, because that first 30 minutes to an hour, it's a lot of chaoticness going on with a bunch of new money coming to the market or money trying to sell. So it'll be interesting. This year is a new year, guys. I hope everybody's prepared to learn some new things along the way, I guess. I'm excited to see exactly how far this year goes. Hopefully we don't get too much chaotic politicalness as far as politics go, because that does play a huge part in how it did last year with the whole election. Election years are very kind of funny years, okay? So there's a lot of up and down chaoticness generally happens every election year. As you guys saw, this was probably the most wild election year I've ever traded. So I expect the next couple of years here, before another election ever comes up, that things will mellow out, things will have more stability, things are a little easier to trade, not so chaotic. So I'm excited for 2021. I mean, I hope you guys are. I think it's going to be a good year. So I'm more than excited to kick this off tomorrow morning. But anyway, we'll cover some of the things here we got for the challenge. I'm going to be documenting this here in the challenge. I've got myself up a little $99 account already set up. If you guys haven't set one up, that's entirely up to you guys if you want to play along. But I'm going to be, what I'm looking at in this, guys, where I broke it down, I want you guys to think about small money, okay? But when it comes to some of these trades, you got to think about the small dollars, because the small dollars is how you build that consistency. You're going to look forward to trying to build upon that one little small chunk at a time. I'm sorry, $99 is just not going to make a grand in one day. Not a likely, not very likely anyway. So you guys got to take those baby steps when it comes to doing this challenge in order to have it continually grow in a consistent manner. I mean, it's one thing to make, $200 off of $99 in one day, and then the next day you lose the entire 200 bucks and you're back to square one, or you lose 50, or you lose, all of it, or blow up the entire account. Okay, so you got to have consistency. I'm not looking for red days, but not everybody's going to be able to have green days as well. So we're going to have to plan that accordingly. I'm going to be sitting very disciplined when it comes to this account. Okay, until it gets to a certain point, I can start getting a little bit, reckless. I'm not going to say reckless, but a little bit more gutsy with some of the trades, because I've got a little bit more cushion to hang on to. But when you guys start with small accounts, you've got zero room for error, okay? Unless you want to just completely blow up the entire account. But with that being said, the whole goal is literally to have those small, consistent gains. I broke it down this little plan. That doesn't mean everybody's going to get to $1 million in 1 week or 1 year or whatever. This thing may not even make 10K in 1 year, but I hope, everybody's going to be in different scenarios, how they trade this, how they manage it, how your emotions kind of play in this. But I'm looking for 20% every week. Okay. The goal is to try to make 20% every week. Now, tomorrow I may put 99 bucks in it and get 20% in one trade. Okay. That's going to get me right ahead right there. So looking at 99 bucks, I'm going to be sitting on my hands. I'm going to be disciplined, waiting for that setup. And then I'm going to be looking for a possibility to make $19.80. Whoopee. Not much money, but it certainly adds up over time. But with this whole sense, everybody's got a different way how they want to approach it. I'm going to be trying to do this over the live stream. Some of you guys that are all Magic Elite members, you're going to get access to me doing this over live. It's probably going to be more in the slow part of the day, maybe afternoon when I may take the trade. If I don't see one, cheap enough or good enough in my, price range or budget, because I'm gonna have to look at trades that are less than $1 a contract. I'm gonna probably have to focus on stuff that's under 50 cents a contract, really, to be to be honest here, on looking the most potential reward versus the minimal amount of risk. Okay, now there is no such thing as zero risk trading, but if I can get to the point where it's minimal risk and lots of potential for reward on the trade or the contracts that I play, I'm going to be taking those. Okay, and whenever I do take them, guys, I've got a robot that I tweet out through, and that robot literally sends it to all the channels all at one time. It's going to send the alert that I got in such and such a play with such and such amount of contracts at such and such price and strike and all that stuff. And it should post to the Elite chat here. It's going to post into the Twitter feed chat right here too, where everything else gets posted. And I'm going to try to add a hashtag 100 challenge to the tweet. And of course, it'll go onto the Twitter. Let me see if I can pull it up over here. Of course, it's going to go onto the Twitter account here too. And I'm going to have it under the hashtag 100 challenge there. So if you were to oh, well, let me go see everything related to the 100 challenge, all you got to do is hit that hashtag. And of course, I'll have a link to where it's going to be Magic Tickers. What is my username here real quick? Magic Tickers LLC. And that's going to pull up everything related to that 100 challenge, okay? Which that's the link you'll have right there. Of course, I'll save the link. You guys can use this link if you want to, but it literally pulls everything on Twitter that would be related to this challenge that we posted or anybody in our group may have talked about or anything to that matter. So it will be posted up here under that hashtag and obviously our username. But I'll go into that obviously as we continue to play things out. But I hope you guys, if you want to follow along with it, make sure you guys got a cash account. I've got videos on this in our YouTube channel. It's even on our website. If you go to the YouTube section on our website, right here, if you scroll on down, it's this link right here under YouTube. I've got that how to day trade with $99 no PDT rule. So we're going to make sure we're going to be focusing on that with a $99 challenge. It's going to be cash account only, no margin. Okay, so there's ways around it. So make sure you guys definitely go watch that video if you haven't already, to understand how I'm trading it or how my account, doesn't limit me from taking more than 3 day trades in a week. It's due to that exact scenario of what I'm talking about in that video. But anyway, guys, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be an exciting thing. I'm going to try to play this all year long. Any of the progress too is going to be posted Um, okay, there you go. Just Dan just posted the link right there. That's simple enough, buddy. Good job. So anybody who gets involved as far as playing with it, any of the progress that you make, like let's say I made $20 today, I made $50 or whatever, your P&L, I'm gonna post it in the little $100 progress here. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep this as decluttered as possible. That only shows the post of your gains for the day, okay, or your progress on your small account. So if you guys are playing along with us, be sure to post a picture in there. You guys got access to this channel. You can post your picture and then say, hey, I made this much, or I didn't make this much, or I lost this much, or whatever it may be. I want to try to make this challenge as transparent for myself as possible so you guys can play along. I'm also going to have this journaled on my Trader Sync platform here too. Okay. So you guys will see exactly how much money is accumulating, what was the winning percentage of all the trades, what were the best days of the week, the best days of the month. It's gonna, this Trader Sync really breaks things down. How long I held the trades for, how long I didn't hold the trades for, what was my entry, what was my exits. It even will pull out on the chart where I entered on the specific chart and exited on the chart. So I'm going to break all this down every week, and then I'm going to post it up in the blog here. If you guys already see the blog, it's public. But you guys can see the blog, and I'll post those trades. I'll break them down, why I took them. I want to use this as a sense to be more of an educational purpose and kind of a challenge for myself. It's very difficult to grow $99. I want to say it's probably the most difficult to grow something with such small amount of money in order to try to make it into something worthwhile. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys will use it to your advantage. If you guys can trade along, that would be great. Like I said, whenever I do alert, it'll be posted on the Twitter. And of course, it'll feed into the Discord here and also into the little Twitter feed Discord here too. And I may have it actually feed into the Hunter Challenge Discord channel section here too, in case it ever does get missed. So it kind of goes through 1, 2, 3, 4 locations all at one time. So we'll see how that handles. Because Monday I'm going to try to do the first trade. It's probably just going to be one trade, of course, being only $99. I can't split that up in too many trades. I'm just going to be the whole $99, one trade. Take it, try to make at least 10, 20%. I've got my entire week's worth of gains that I was planning for, the $19, 80 cents. And then, of course, if I can do Tuesday, do another 20% or 10% or whatever it may be, I'm going to try to play along with that too. And I may start cutting a lot of these early weeks out pretty quickly. Obviously, when it becomes more and more capital, it can start being split up into multiple trades. But we'll see how things progress. And of course, guys, use your own risk management. I know everybody has a different attachment to the money, a different emotional aspect of this. I don't know if you guys are using this in a sense for retirement, using it as a sense for your future growth, using it as a sense of income maybe or something. But anyway, just be disciplined. If you guys got questions, I'm more than happy to answer them even in the live stream as we trade throughout the day. But anyway, guys, without that, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover on this. But it's, just look for those small gains, guys. Be consistent. Be very disciplined for your entries. If you miss the entry, there's always many other trades we do take. And, there may become a situation where markets may be slow. I may not even take the trade that day, okay? If I think it's too slow, it doesn't even look good, I'm not going to risk my money in doing so, okay? I'm going to be sitting on my hands and working each scenario one at a time. Gotta Have Faith says, I'm wondering how it will work with ones that have to pay fees, especially in the beginning. For example, a buy and sell for me is about 10 to 15 bucks. That would be 10 to 15% of a trade. That is a different challenge that you guys got there in Canada. I know a lot of you guys in Canada don't have the PDT rule. Here in the US, we do have the PDT rules, so we're stuck with having to do the cash accounts, but our fees are very minimal. Okay, it's going to cost me 50 cents a contract here in order to process my trade. But some of you guys there, it looks like in Canada, pay anywhere from $10 to $20 a trade. So, you guys might have to tweak it a little bit. Maybe you need to start with $200 instead of $100. That's definitely a challenge in itself, just because of the early stages of how you start with so much cost and fees, which is insane how they are milking you guys for the transaction fees. Like I said, it's only 50 cents a contract here. It's not 10 or $15 or $20 that you guys are paying there. So I don't really have an answer to that. Other than that, I would probably rather start with $200 if that was the case, and be very disciplined just so it could kind of protect myself, transaction wise, because if it's 10 or $15 to buy in and then 10 or $15 to sell it, that's pretty messed up. But definitely start a little higher if you can in order to help compensate for that. Um, that's going to be tough. To actually, if I actually had to challenge that with 10 or $15 transaction fees, you'd have to definitely be very disciplined on your trades. There is no room for error, obviously, with that small of account, with that amount of the fees. So, however you want to approach it, just be very careful. I would definitely start with more money than $100 though, because that's 15% of your money there. So, if you knocked it down to, uh, if you could get it to under 5% of the account size, that would be good. So whatever that percentage is there, maybe 200 or 300 bucks, depending on your account size. But I definitely try to figure out where that commission is less, or 5% or less, hopefully, than the actual um, account size. Anyway, at least 5% or less than the account size, just for commissions. And then of course you want to try to at least get 10% on the trade, and at least you're getting 5% on your money, or 20% you're getting 15% on your money, something like that. That'd be a little safer bet to play with. So I would start with five. Look, whatever 5% um, commission of your cost is kind of probably how to handle that. Gotta have faith. If you guys got questions, feel free to chat in the little Zoom chat there, and I'll definitely respond as I can. But in the meantime, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this $100 challenge. And I'm going to go ahead and cover the plays for this week. I've got a watch list of all the different setups I kind of like for the week. Some of them are a little delayed. Some of them may be later in the week. Some of them may not even be plays this week at all. But pretty much for the most part, I do kind of keep a very similar list every single week. I definitely kind of cover particular sectors because I know the EV sector is hot right now, so I want to watch that. Bitcoin is kind of all over the place, so that's another sector sometimes people like to watch. So different sectors like that obviously are hot or demanding in the meantime for right now. But I'll kind of cover over some of my favorite stocks, obviously, and some of these are actually very cheap that I want to watch because I'm going to have to focus on very cheap contract or cheap option type plays for this challenge. But as a whole, American Airlines is a cheap options contract play, so I'm just watching this one in general. We'll see exactly what comes out of this one right now. So far, it's kind of setting up above this $15.50 area. If we decide to bounce, I may play this one this week. So nothing serious as far as coming into tomorrow on this one just yet, but it's one I'm watching this week. Apple is another one that's been pretty demanding. This is actually getting its little fingers in the EV sector to some degree right now. So it's had a very big run. It's actually kind of had a weak close into 2020, but near its all-time highs is not too shabby. Okay, it did make a new 52-week high on the 29th, and it's definitely pulled back some, but still intact for a very bullish trend. I do not want to throw this one out as far as a possible more new highs to come on this one. So definitely a strong one that I keep continually on my list. ABBV is something that caught my attention today. I don't really know anything about these companies. The only thing is I look at the chart and I look at the options. That's all I'm paying attention to. I don't think there's any news related to this one that I'm aware of. No, they haven't had news in a while, so nothing catalyst related. But on a chart aspect, this thing is looking pretty dang nice. We've got new highs up here on December 10th. I think they're all-time highs too, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, not all-time highs. Back in 2018, we had some highs up here around 125. So that being said, it is a new 52-week high that is continually pushing up. I want to see how these 109s break. It does look like it's setting up pretty nicely, and those options are fairly cheap on this one too. I'm going to check this one out. ABBV. Yeah, 108. Let's say 108 calls. Volume is pretty low. Implied volatility is definitely pretty low. The spread's kind of tight. Let's say we did some 110s maybe for January 15th. There you go. A lot of open interest. Those 25,000 contracts. Implied volatility is still low. 108 bid, 115 ask. Low was 49 cents, high was $1.18. So those ran over 100% on Thursday. So I want to kind of pay attention to this chart as we continue to build up. I'd probably play these contracts right here, the 110 January 15th. I got a decent amount of time. The strike is within reach, right up here around 109, 110 area. So I'd play that one right there tomorrow. This one very likely will be a play tomorrow. If it is, I'm going to see what opening looks like in pre-market. Obviously, I'll probably start triggering around 107.60 for an entry right there on break of that for entry, and then start looking at these highs and these opens and closes for different targets due to that. And this is, of course, on a daily chart, so every candle represents one day. So definitely a strong candidate. I like this one going into tomorrow and this week. AMCI, I think this is a SPAC play. Nothing crazy going on with that one, but I do like to watch the SPACs. AMD, nothing going on there yet. Amazon had some pretty good pushes right there on the 28th and 29th, and then kind of faltered off, kind of like Apple did. So these are definitely still very strong. They help SPY. They make SPY fall. They make SPY go up. I'm going to be watching Amazon to some degree. I hated the little tiny channels that it had there for a while. It finally decided to break out on the 28th, which made some really good moves for money. You want to have those really big move days in order to play options. If you're going to play options on the little short candle days, you might as well just call it a day. I mean, you're going to get rough house. It's going to be awful on the calls, awful on the puts. The amount of movement up and down is just chaotic, and it's not worth even attempting a trade. There is no trade right here that I see for tomorrow. But pre-market tomorrow, if it looks like we're going to fall some more, I'm going to be looking on breaking Thursday's lows. If we break Thursday's lows, I think we could actually falter down pretty good, maybe through this 32.28, and then maybe even down to the 32 or lower area right here, which would make a pretty substantial put if it decides to continue falling. But it does look like it did try to push up a little bit into close, so it may try to help it some there. It ain't much of a push into close, but it is a little bit there, and you got kind of a double bottom right here. So it may completely turn around. So if it turns around, breaks our resistance right here, I may be a call entry right there. And if it can get back up here, I'm going to start seeing these as price target areas to maybe start pushing higher. And of course, those lines are all based off of my daily candles, which represent on over here to the 2-minute candles. So we'll see exactly how that plays out. It looks very, it's cluttered, obviously, but I need to see these lines on Amazon because a $10 move is insane for some of the options that we do play. So we'll see exactly how this one looks. And now, of course, I'll be seeing those levels. And we got to be very careful if you guys are new to playing Amazon. Boeing has been selling off. It's still in a downtrend. I see no sign of reversal yet, but it's one I like to watch due to the fact it is the mother of all the airlines. Baba, big, massive drop as this one's been coming down. And of course, we bounced pretty hard. It's looking kind of weak right now, but it does seem to be basing around this 233 area. So we'll see exactly how that holds. It did fill this little gap right there. So that little gap right there is now filled because it gapped below here and then finally pulled up. So I don't know. This may not even be a trade tomorrow. But if it wants to retract and maybe head toward this gap fill, then it could be a possible trade this week. So it's one I want to keep an eye on this week, but no trade tomorrow that I can really see. Bank of America, I've been noticing the banks. Banks are kind of setting up pretty nicely lately. This one's actually been pushing up higher and higher. We've got some highs from June here. They're trying to come back from their February drop. So probably break on that 30.52 may get a little interesting for Bank of America. Options, I think, are pretty cheap on this one. Of course, they're slow if you guys don't mind the slow plays. But for a challenge, this may be actually pretty good. You see how cheap they are, 44 cents, let's say $30.50 calls. They have plenty of volume, plenty of open interest. And the bid is 43 cents. The high is 45 cents. With the $100 challenge, I could buy 2 contracts of this right here. And of course, if it moves up to 60 cents, boom, there's my 15 to 20% gain. Or actually, no, that's my 50% gain. So that's actually pretty good money if I can get this, jump in around, let's say, 40 cents or whatever it may be, and then it runs to 60 cents, I've got 50% gains right there on my contract. So definitely good potential. That's why I want to focus on under 50-cent contracts for the challenge. So I'll be watching. I'll be watching Bank of America. This one may potentially to break some of those highs. It's not one I'd technically normally play at all, but with a challenge, I need to focus on those tiny, those small, half a dollar type contract plays. It's setting up very nice. Thursday was actually a pretty strong day. If it wants to put up a stronger day tomorrow and break through this 30.52, there's a good chance it could. But if we just go sideways, we could consolidate here for a couple days. So if you guys want to write down Bank of America, if it looks good tomorrow morning, I'll probably throw it on the alerts. Maybe play it with the regular account or trade it with the challenge account if the reward looks good for this one tomorrow. But for now, it does look pretty set up for tomorrow. BIDU, big push on Wednesday, December 30th. Massive push, new highs on Thursday, but did very quickly pull them back down. Did not have the strength to decide to push another big day. In my opinion, this may need to consolidate for a couple days. Tomorrow, it could easily just bounce right back out and push up another high too. So I don't want to throw this one out of the question. This chart consolidated for about a week and some change there, and then broke out. So really good stock probably for this week. This one is not going to be a challenge play, I don't believe by any stretch, but BDU does make some crazy moves on the options. So it's more expensive, $6, $5, $3 options here, obviously, that you got. But insane moves, as you see right here. The low was $3.35. The high was $8. So that's roughly turning $300 into $800 had you played that entire move correctly. But very, very crazy moves on BDU. So I don't want to throw this out. Looks like we did push up a little bit into close, so there's a chance this one could reverse tomorrow. It ain't much of a push into close, but it's a small one there. So we'll see exactly what it decides to do. It did gap up, push back down, and then push all the way back up, and then all the way back down, and then just a chop fest, it looks like, for the remainder of the day. But anyway, we'll see exactly how this pushes through, if it makes a play tomorrow. If not, it may be later in the week. Going to the next one, guys. Blink batteries. Okay, I love the EV sector, guys. This is the little the little charging booths or charging stations you guys see at a Kroger parking lot or a Starbucks or hotel or something to charge these little electric cars that you see driving around. So that's what Blink is. Blink Charging Company. So this has been a strong one, obviously running with the EV sector. It's had some big moves. We did see a low down here on December 29th around that $40 range. It held it. It hung tight to it. We saw back up to 46, 42s, 43s. I don't have any options on this one, but I do carry a lot of common shares on this one. I've been holding common shares since around the $7 range. I mean, it's made some crazy moves. If you go back to the $7 or we were $3 back in June. But if you were back here in the $7, $8 range, this was where I was adding in on my commons. I mean, to see us make the moves that we have all the way up here to 56 has been insane. And that's just been a matter of a couple months. I mean, that was October, November. It wasn't that long ago we were looking at $7 to make such an extreme move. I think the EV sector is going to be insanely huge this year. I think it's going to really blow up, and everybody's going to be scratching their heads why they were not playing the EV sectors during the start of this year. When we look back and we see how far Tesla's made. I mean, Tesla's made what, a couple 1,000% moves, I think, this year. I mean, or the past few years, it's been crazy. I could go to FinViz right now, and I think I can pull up exactly what it's done here. But let's say 1 year's performance, 720% in 1 year on Tesla alone. I mean, looking at the entire S&P 500, guys, you see Apple's done pretty good. Google's so-so. Microsoft is okay. Netflix is actually pretty pretty phenomenal. I want to say, where's AMD at? There it is. 86% on AMD, 117% on NVIDIA. I know those did pretty good this year. QCOM is not bad. MU looks like 35%. But Amazon 71%, but Tesla 720%. So that was just the EV sector this year. Okay, what's it going to be this year? Or last year. What's it going to be this year? So that's got me interested, obviously, because a lot of these little small companies are going to blow up, in my opinion, that are starting to get noticed towards the end of last year here from November, October area that have really blown up. Stocks like Neo, stocks like XPEV, LI. We're going to cover some of those, but they're almost constant daily day traders. Not every day, but almost every day. So they tend to stay on my list a lot. And of course, the charging companies that kind of go along with this. It's a sector that I think is going to be really hot. But to see the moves that these have been making, the options trade really well on most of these. And some of the options turn into a couple 1,000% if you play them correctly. But I like Blink. Obviously, it looks like we've had a little bit of a down Thursday, but still holding very nicely up here above the $40 support. If we hold $40, I'd say it's a good possibility. We'll see back to the 50s, maybe even 60s this month. Not necessarily this week, but definitely this month wouldn't surprise me. B&GO, this is a cheap penny stock that I'm watching due to the fact in after hours it blew up to the $4. It closed at $3, so it's up a dollar in after hours. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. I mean, you see what it's like right there in the close. It's blowing up. I know there's a bunch of pumpers on it, so it's got my interest a little bit. So I'll be paying attention to this one here tomorrow. Maybe a pre-market trade is pretty much it. CBAT, just watching this one for now. It's an energy stock. CLSK is another, if I'm not mistaken, a battery play as well. But this one has been doing really well as well. That's been pushing up ever since, November here was $8. October was $7 range, kind of the same Blink scenario right there. And we're already up here, knocking on $30. To see this one up here in the 40, maybe $50 range will not surprise me one bit at all. Okay. I think this one is well on its way to see some nice highs. I mean, we were looking at, $15 here in December. Okay. And we're already doubled the $15. So we'll see at this one, but this one actually has really good options. The options pay pretty well. I think they're pretty cheap too. They seem to be anyway. The few times I've played it. I've got long commons on this one too, but no current options. All right, so $30 calls are $2.93, $40 calls are 90 cents. Okay, 70. These are a little spready. It's a little out of it. You could probably get away with the 35s. To me, I'd probably play the 30s, but you could get away with the 35s. I hate that they don't got weekly options, but they got monthly, so at least we got that to play with. 35s probably for January 15th will be your bet for this week as far as playing on these, and still probably do okay. And the delta is 32 cents, meaning every dollar the stock goes up, you're going to make 32 cents on your contracts. Not too bad. So with that being said, I like this one. I do think it's a good one over the course of this month and many months to come. David says if you use TOS built-in heat maps like Finviz, click on Market Watch tab, click Visualize, has a lot of built-in categories. All right, David, I'm not familiar with that, but thanks for the tip. DC Neo up 1,400% for 2020. Probably wouldn't surprise me. I'll take a look at Neo's chart here in a minute. CRWD, this is cybersecurity, okay? I've got an entire watch list of cybersecurity stocks. Just because I have this one up doesn't mean I'm not watching the others. But let me go to it right here. TLS is one that I'm watching. It's got a crazy move, and it was just IPO'd in November. But this is another cybersecurity. I think cybersecurity is kind of a big thing right now. I don't know that much about cybersecurity, but the stocks are definitely banging, and I'm going to be there right along with it, taking some of that money if I can. But cybersecurity apparently seems to be a kind of a big thing going on right now. So CrowdStrike is a big play. A lot of us have been playing some as well. It's made some really extreme moves over the course of December. December's been a crazy strong month. If we can have anything like December for January, if not stronger, guys, it's going to be a phenomenal year. So we'll see what happens. But the moves that some of these stocks have made in the course of December was insane. DKing. DKing's looking a little rough. This is a betting stock, but I seem to keep watching it just in case if it decides to rebound. But nothing serious with this one just yet. I do like the way it has been playing over the course of the many weeks and months that we've played it. But for right now, it looks like it seemed to be coming back down. We'll see, decide when this one decides to find ground. It could be this week, it could be the next week before it decides to bounce. Facebook, I just watch it due to the fact it influences SPY. Nothing play, no play there at all. FCell, very good potential with this one for this year as well. This thing back in November is from $2.50. I still remember us first starting to get a little attractiveness to this one, and it's made some pretty, pretty phenomenal moves up here in the 13s and 12s and 11 range. So I'm keeping this one on watch. We could see some new highs this week or the next week as well, but definitely this month, no doubt. Faye is another one, or Fire, as some of you guys are calling it. Fire Incorporated. This one is another cybersecurity stock, and it's made some crazy move. Just stopping by, called this one back in December, or December 18th, I guess it was, and it's made, I mean, $14 to $25 in a matter of a couple of days there. So this has been a strong move, but as you guys know, I like the tiny, tiny short candles from big moves. After you have a big move like that, and you want to start having some shorter candles, we have an inside day right here, meaning the tighter they get, the bigger the breakouts are that afterwards. Okay, so we'll see exactly how this one consolidates here, then boom, or boom, depending on depending on what happens there. But for now, it's setting up for a possible good move again this week. I thought it was going to be Thursday. It did not break the entry point for Thursday, which was 2340. Came close to it, but didn't break it. It's another example from the watch list right here, guys. If you go to it, right there, 2340. Okay, that's why I say it's so important. Don't play the alert just because it's on the alert. You want to make sure it breaks that entry point, which 2340 is entry point. We didn't break 2340 on Thursday, so this play was not even touched by any of us on Thursday. Sure, it got close, 2330 there, but still failed to breach the 2340 because that was the previous day's high. Didn't break it, didn't quite even kiss it there, but it got close. But that's why that was no play for Thursday. Fastly, I could really just take this one off my list. It's not really anything exciting. I thought we were gonna come up here and gap fill, but it's been trending down. I'm not gonna even watch that one this week, I don't believe. Food 2, okay, big strong one. We just kind of covered this a little bit earlier. This one has been a phenomenal play. Past 2 days right there. I saw the breakout of this upper channel. Those contracts actually moved pretty well on this one. If any guys decide to play those, and I think we're going to go up here and kind of kiss a new high, which is going to be about right there, 50 and some change, 51, 50, 41, and also these highs are right there, 48, roughly 49. So we'll see this one here, but I think there's a good possibility that could probably come back and maybe do a new high tomorrow. Doesn't look like it gave the strongest close, so it actually may not. But it did fall and did try to push back up. So if it starts breaking these levels up through here, then it may get exciting. And the options I'll probably play on that one will be, let's take a look here. Okay, I only got monthlies, $50. Yeah, I'll probably play the $50 Januaries. Even in the money on these would probably be pretty good. 350. That's a tight spread in the money. You could probably get away with these $50. 35 cents is delta. 57 cents is better. I don't know. I'd actually be more enticed to pay premium with it too, and play the 45s. But 50s you could do fine. It's a cheaper option. And could definitely potentially make good money on that as well. FUV. This one was a good play last week as well. It's come down pretty good though. It looks like it's breached a support in my opinion. My diagonal supports through here. We are at 1307 as a support right here as far as a horizontal support. If we break that tomorrow, there's a good chance we could see back to down here 1267, 1233, and maybe even 1197. So this one doesn't look that great right now going into tomorrow at all. But it's on its way down, guys. It's trending down for the most part. It's broke the bullish trend and it's kind of reversed to the downtrend after we kissed up here around the 16 and a half. It could easily reclaim itself tomorrow if it wants to, and maybe try to reverse if it could. But we'll see. It looks like there's a lot of selling pressure right here. Supply is overwhelming the demand, so you want to be careful with that. I mean, look at that chart. What does that scream? Yesterday or Thursday was rounded, then just literally fell off the edge there into close. So we'll see exactly how that one performs this week. But as of tomorrow, it doesn't look that appetizing. GHIV is another strong play or a SPAC play. If you guys go to the SPAC plays list right here, when is the SPAC? I think it's the 20th, I believe. Let me hang on. It's under the calendar section here. All right. Yeah, 20th, Wednesday the 20th. So that's when it's getting approved for its little merger deal right there with United Wholesale Mortgage. So this one may have a pop into it. We'll see. The options are okayish on this one. I've been just playing commons. I haven't been playing options. So if you guys want to play options with it, that's entirely up to you guys. But we may alert this one a couple times or so this week if it looks strong. But I do like the potential with this play. If you guys do any due diligence on this one, there's roughly a many billion-dollar company merging into this shell right here. So it's pretty insane the amount of revenue that the company makes that is coming into this one. So very strong play in the potential weeks to come. Goldman Sachs. Okay, I like this one play just because it's with the bank stocks and it is pushing some highs up here. I have not charted this one yet. I just threw it on here tonight. But if you guys go back and look over Goldman Sachs options, I think they're decent. I'm going to check real quick here. So January 265. Yeah, they're decent. They're not super cheap, but they're decent here. Yeah, that's good spread, good volume. So this one may be a play this week. I'll probably chart this one out in the morning and see exactly how it looks. Hoff H is one due to the fact it is down here at the very bottom. There's nothing exciting about this right now, obviously. I stick on after hours though. What do we got? It's popping up in after hours, okay? There's some excitement about a big bunch of insider buying. It's a cheap little $1.73 stock. It has no options, so some of the pumpers, some of the other guys are kind of getting excited about this one. They could pop this thing up and makes a pretty good move. It's a tiny little float on it though. This one day right here in November, it popped from $1.92 all the way up here to $6.50. So it looks like it's setting up here. It could pop another, dollar, $2, $3 move there if it wants to. So I'm just watching it for this week, but not my typical play. INTC, it's made some pretty good moves right here. We've got this trend line right here. If it breaks the back above it, we could have some neck moves that kind of help this one. But for now, I hate INTC. I hate this stock. It's nothing but trash in my opinion. But if the play's there, if there's money to be made, I will definitely play it. IPOC, crazy moves on this one. There's another SPAC. I think this was on the calendar too. Let me go back. IPOC has its merger meeting. Okay, the 6th. It's coming right up. Wednesday. Okay, so IPOC is having a shareholder business combination with Clover Health, which apparently Clover Health is working with Walmart too, from what I gather. So this could be pretty beneficial for IPOC. Is it up in after hours? It's up a little bit, not much. So we'll watch this one this week. Could be a play going into Wednesday, Monday through Wednesday. Could be actually pretty strong next 3 weeks. There's a couple pump groups that are on this play too, so they may try to push this on up there to the $20 mark. Won't surprise me at all. You guys know how I'll play these mergers. I'll play it up into the merger, but I'm selling it at the merger. Okay, I'm not going to hang on to it because every time they go into the merger, they generally sell off after the merger. So to me, it's a sell at that point into the merger. Okay. JKS, just watching it do the solar, nothing exciting there. JMIA is getting a little buzz this weekend. This one has been some crazy moves. Here in October, it was a $7 stock again, kind of like Blink. This is South Africa's version of Amazon. Okay, so it's part of Africa, but it's South Africa's version, yeah, literally of Amazon or Alibaba. And it's made some crazy strides, and they're doing a lot of marketing right now, from what I've seen. So this one could blow up, pretty substantially. I know a lot of people think $100 plus stock eventually. Who knows? But the moves on this thing have been pretty phenomenal. From November $12 to all the way up here to almost 50. One to keep on radar. I like the potential growth for this one this week, or this month, or even this year on this one. So I'm going to keep it good close tabs on this one as a continue play, and it does go on the alerts quite a few times. So pay attention to that one. J&J, I kind of liked it due to the fact it made a new high on Thursday. Okay, nothing really crazy. I don't really play this one that often. It's been pretty rare actually, but I just like the way the chart was pushing up here into Thursday's close. It's got my interest for this week. So J&J could be something potential. It does fit in line with the healthcare sector, I guess, with the vaccines and things of that nature. It's not my favorite sector at all, but if there's money to be made, I'm going to pay attention to it. JP Morgan, same as Bank of America and Goldman Sachs. You see how all these bank stocks are pushing up? They're getting some interest. They're small money. It doesn't take much. The options don't cost that much for some of these moves. JP Morgan, I think, has decent prices on their options. What are their options priced at? Yeah, $1. Okay, yeah, they're pretty cheap. And you see this right here, plenty of volume, decent open interest. Delta is really good. 72 cents bid, 76 ask. That's not bad at all. I've played JP Morgan quite a few times, and if JP Morgan breaks some of these levels up through here, it could get interesting. And this one may actually be a $100 challenge account candidate. I don't know if I could play those. No, they're cheap, but they're a little rough. I might could get away with 132s. It's getting a little touchy there. 131s. 131s is better. 130s is really where it's at, though. I would try to play the 70-cent ones. You just have to play with one contractor. Depending on how quickly we grow, you can start playing with a couple more contracts. But something to keep an eye on. All right, going to the next stock here. Coca-Cola. Very cheap stock as well that I could easily play with the challenge. It's setting up. It keeps pushing higher. I think this one pays extremely slow, though. But that chart, I can't deny, it does look kind of good. You guys see these right here, $55 calls. Decent volume. There's 51 cents there, 56 cents on the ask, 46 cents delta, meaning every dollar Coca-Cola goes up. It's going to be interesting, that we make 46 cents a contract on that. So low was 33, high was 58 Thursday, just to give you an idea. So they're super slow, but there is money to be made. Easily a 10 to 20% candidate potential for calls on this mover. LI, this is an EV sector stock. This one plays along with the whole Chinese EV sectors, period. So some of the people definitely like to get interested on this one here. This one has been a decent player in the past. So if we can catch this one right and it decides to rebound and get strength, this one may be a strong candidate tomorrow due to the fact that EV is getting really hot over the weekend here. This will play along with NIO. It'll play along with XPEV and some of the others. So keep this one on your radar. It very likely could be on the watch list tomorrow morning. Microsoft, just watching it due to a FANG stock. MU. Okay, this was our best alert on Thursday. This was actually on our alerts there as well, right here. Break of 72.68. I want to play the $75 calls for January 8th, $1.62 a contract, and then of course all these price targets. If I go to MU, you guys see how much money those options paid. It's pretty nice. 75s, $1.80 was our low, high was $3.89. That's some pretty good money where I come from. So with that being said, that was a pretty good mover on MU. Very, very awesome. New highs right there. I want to say that we could continually pushing. We did hit that price target number, 75.64. What was that price target? A little past it. 75.04 was our price target number 4. So with that being said, we definitely did go on past it there. Dang, we did go above it though. Did close above it though. So it could be put a strong potential there for tomorrow. Yeah, it hit all the way up here, 75.63. So good potential maybe for tomorrow. I want to say even for this week. What's interesting too is also we got this catalyst on January 7th. This earnings report on Thursday after hours. So the run up for this may be already starting. If market looks strong, tech sector looks okay. Micron Technology here could definitely push on up, maybe another $2-3 a share right here. So keep this on a watch. We got those earnings on Thursday after hours. You guys know I don't hold into earnings. If you guys ever want to go down to the little channel for earnings down here on the Discord, I'll post up any ones that of interest to me. To me, this is the only stock that has any interest of earnings for me this week. Period. But Micron Technology is confirmed report earnings approximately 4 p.m. Thursday, January 7th. Consensus earnings estimate is 71 cents per share of revenue. I'll skip all the jazz there, but on December 30th, there was some notable buying of 14,000 plus contracts with the 7250 calls expiring on Friday, April. Okay, some really far expiration, April 16th. Options traders are pricing in a 7.5% move on earnings. The stock has averaged around 7.5 as well. So with that being said, we'll see exactly what kind of move it decides to do there, but that's it's in good shape to continue pushing there. And of course, the contracts I'd play at this point are probably 76s maybe. I hate to get off the round numbers, but yeah, 76 or 78. 77s are good. You can pretty much play the off numbers here too on this one due to the fact it's a slower mover. Yeah, 76s is probably what I'd play on this one for January 8th. It's in good shape. Good shape for that one. Netta was a big mover last week, but no interest really. There's only commons on that one, no options. Netflix, very strong close on this one with Thursday. I think there's a good potential of this one to push higher this week. Neo, very strong move that you guys know. This is all EV, Chinese EV play. DC said something about 1,400%. It wouldn't surprise me this year. Yeah, I mean, $3.83. What was our lows this year? $2 roughly. Let's say $2 to what was our high? 57s. $2 at 57. What percentage is that? That's 2,750%. That's pretty dang insane. So yeah, there you go. That's nuts. From our lows to our highs this year. At 48 would put us at 2,300%. So that's nuts. That is a nutty move on Neo. But anyway, strong close on this one Thursday. I think we're definitely got more potential as this one. They did release some news. I think it's on my Twitter here. Let me go back and check real quick. They did release some news about being the best amount of sales that they've had in a long time. Yeah, heads into New Year's. I'll put it up right here. Neo heads into New Year with electric vehicles soaring, electric sales soaring. I guess they've been completely going, but they had 7,000 sales in just December alone. I mean, that's pretty astronomical right there. So this one could definitely continue some serious growth into the next. Looks like they've been almost beating month over month. So definitely keep Neo on your watch, guys. Play it carefully. I've got long commons on this one. I've been holding it for a while. Ever since the $20 range, I think is where I've been holding my commons from. But very strong pushes on this one, and I like to day trade the options on it. So if this one continues going, you can expect some of the other EVs to kind of run in relation to it. So strong play this week and this month, this year in general. And in DM, I just like the chart on this one. If we played it, what was it? This day, the 30th. think it was on our 30th watch list, and I think they actually did pretty good. Yeah, right here, the 30th. That was on our watch list that day for 882. The $10 calls. We hit all the way up here to 9.5, almost $10. So definitely a good move on that one. So I'm just paying attention to it. Nvidia, nothing much going on there. Penn is falling with DKing. This is in the same sector as the sports betting sector. Planner is still falling off a cliff, but I still want to watch it. No play. Plug is in the same realm as the EV sector. This is the plug charging, kind of like Blink is. So I'm watching this one. This one definitely makes continual moves with the EV sector. Piton, it's made some insane highs. It hasn't filled the gap yet, though. 144 is gap fill. So if it comes back on down here 144, I might get interested. It may be a play this week. It may not be at all. PayPal kind of plays with Bitcoin, okay? Yes, it's kind of weird, but PayPal, now you can trade Bitcoin on PayPal. You can buy, you can do transactions with Bitcoin on PayPal. So I keep PayPal up here just because I like to see how it reacts to the Bitcoin moves. QCOM has been setting up pretty good this week too. So I want to watch this one a little bit. We're coming up here almost to gap fill. We're going to have about 154, going to fill that gap right there. So I think there's a strong candidate for tomorrow, really. So setting up very good. Options are so-so on this one. They're not the greatest in the world. But any of you guys who like to play some of it could definitely do okay-ish. Let's say we did 155 calls, 159 bid, 170 ask. A little spready. Volume is still there. Money could still be made at 36 cents a contract. It moves up $2. You're going to make roughly 70 cents a contract. That's not too shabby. Riot, yeah, I hate this stock. It's not my cup of tea due to the fact it likes to pop and drop. I know some of the people like to play with it in correlation with Bitcoin. You guys can play with it, but be very cautious of it. You guys see how tiny bodied every one of these candles are. It's like it wants to push and then drop. It's exactly what it does. Pops and drops. But very, I mean, you can play breaks during intraday maybe and do okay. I think Friday was or Thursday was okay. It had a move right here where it hit the bottom at 1691, ran all the way up here to 1868, which is a pretty good move. But if you guys are day trading this one, be very careful of it. It does not build really much of a pattern. There's plays to be there. It's just tread with caution on that one. Roku, just watching this one near its all-time highs. SBE, same sectors, Blink and Plug, EV sector as well. Strong stock I want to keep on my radar. We're almost done here, guys. Skills is another EV or SPAC play that just got merged, so I'm just paying attention to it right now. Nothing crazy. SMA or SMH, Semiconductor VanDick ETF. This has got a little interesting right here. It's starting to push up a little bit, so I'm paying attention to it this week. It may not be a play at all, but I think the options are actually pretty decent on this one. 220 calls, a little rough there, maybe January 15th. Yeah, open interest and volume is okay there. So I'll play these probably this week if it looks good. If the move looks like we're going to break all-time highs, but we're getting really close, so I'm just paying attention to this one this week. Snap, not a whole lot going on, but it is riding this trend line. Snow was a massive drop. Clark called this one on live as well. He was playing some puts. I think those puts paid like over 200 something percent, I think is what he said. But astronomical drop on this one. We could definitely drop some more. So we'll see exactly how this one decides to keep falling. It literally closed at low a day, which tells me it wants to fall lower. So to close all the way down here at low day, it could definitely fall some more. So if you guys like something violent, something extreme high risk, but extreme high reward, this one may be your play. But we'll see what happens. But it could fall another 10 to $20 here, no doubt. Solo, part of the EV sector, but this one's been getting not a lot of exciting upwards activity on that one. But I'm watching it with the EV sector. Space, I'm just watching it for now. I do like it, but no play there yet. Of course, we got SPY, SQ. This is Bitcoin related, so I want to kind of play this one or watch this one. TAN, This is the solar sector. So is an interesting sector. This is an ETF for the solar sector. So I've got some plays or some commons in this one I've been playing for a while, and it's to see some of these solars come back from September. It's over 100% from September. November it's from 60s, 70s, 80s here in December. It's made over $20 move. So pretty astronomical for an ETF. This is the other cybersecurity stock, TLS. Never played this one, never watched it, never understood exactly what it was really until tonight. So I threw it up here on the list because I want to watch it this week. Of course, Tesla. Okay, Tesla, the mother hen of the ETFs, or the mother hen of the EV stocks. We're closed over our 700s right here. We're down a little bit after hours, nothing crazy. Over the 700s here. We'll see what this one does this week, but it won't surprise me to see this thing try to run towards 800 here in the next couple days, maybe a week or so, maybe next week. But it does like to run to that next following $100 fairly quickly. So watch this one. It'll no doubt present us plays this week. TSM, this is part of the tech sector. This is going to get a little action from MU as well. So we'll see on that one. Watt, just watching this one. This is JSP's little baby. Wells Fargo, bank sector play. So just watching this with the other bank stocks. Workhorse, this is another EV play. So we'll see exactly how that one does. XLF, this is the bank ETF. Okay, this is the financial sector of the S&P 500. I like how it's pushing up. We have this little gap from 29 to 30. Options are cheap on this thing too. XLF. So this one may be a $100 challenge account candidate. I mean, look how cheap these are. 22 freaking cents for out of 50 cents out of the money. 1,000 in volume, 21 cents bid, 23 cents ask. This baby all day long is going to be an easy $100 account challenge play. Okay. Reason I threw it up there today, I like the bank sectors are getting a little action. They're making some moves. Why not play the ETF? They're cheap. I could even grab January 15th as a little extra time, and I'm still at 35 cents. I mean, look at that. 33 bid, 36 ask, 31,000 in volume, 181,000 in open interest. I can't beat that kind of volume for that kind of cheap of a contract. So they made a 52% move on Friday or Thursday. I'm looking for 20%. You guys know exactly how I'm broken down the challenge tonight. I'm looking for that 20%, a week, not necessarily a day, but just in a week. So those small, consistent gains. The moment we get this thing above $1,000, it may start getting quite a bit easier to start making bigger and bigger in trades and more, less, not so tiny little micro option or cheap options. We can start playing some of the bigger setups and so on, to where they make bigger moves. But I do like it. I like this XLF, so I'm going to keep this up there and watch it, chart it tomorrow. XPEV, EV sector stock that is definitely rebounding. This is another Chinese EV company, so we've guys have played this one many times, so I'm watching it. Zoom has got my interest here to fill gap. We started gap fill at 345 where we broke it Thursday, so I think we're going to come on down here to this 325 to fill the gap. You guys see my gray highlighted area there, so looks like we're in good shape to keep on coming down to 325. All right, guys, that is all I had for tonight as far as what I want to discuss. I'm going to go ahead and read over the chat here, see what you guys got. R. Rich says, if there is something on watch list that doesn't reach target, it's still on watch next days, or those levels change? No, those levels don't necessarily change. They're just resistance levels. So if it doesn't reach that level that day, it could likely reach it the following day, definitely. If there's something on watch list that doesn't reach target, it's still on watch next day or those levels. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't reach the highest price target that day, maybe it reaches price target number 2 or something. As long as it closes strong or closes healthy, it doesn't, hit some of these price targets, then drop like a rock or drop or fade off or whatever, then yes, the next day could very likely hit those targets. But if you got a question on a particular play, I'm more than happy to update the chart for you if it's something that you have a question with. I don't want you to, just hold the play in anticipation of it hitting that target the following day. by all means, send me a message. I'm here to try to help you guys understand your play and hopefully prosper from the play too, not necessarily just hold it and hope that it hits the following price targets the following day. JD has been moving. Worth watching. I'll take a look at JD. It's not something I've been watching. JD's not a bad chart. I've had this one on my watch list a few times in the past. Like a flat day. Looks like we've pushed up from these lows in December 18th. It might be something. Might get interesting. I'm actually gonna set an alert right here. Let's see if it breaks through that area. Just because I'm not throwing it on my watch list. A 10-minute candle. Give myself 20 days or 30 days twice. So if it ever comes up there and touches 90, 94, I'm going to get interested because it shows strength. Okay. It shows strength that it wants to break an all time high. So that's when I'll get interested on JD. Reason I'll throw an alert up there on occasions. Zach Woodford, any suggestions for commons that I plan on holding 1+ year? I've got a great list from that. Actually, I've got a non-leveraged ETF funds here for 2020. ARK, these stocks with ARK. Look at the moves that they've made the entire year. If I was to go down here from March, I mean $24 to over $100. These ETFs, these are literally micromanaged fund manager type ETFs. ARKG is very phenomenal on this one for a year long hold or something like that. These ETF funds, every single one of these are. TAN is really good. You guys see down here in March from $20 to over $100. PBW, $22 to over $100. ARKW, March 18th, $43 to over $140. These are great stocks that you want to kind of hold over the long term. And if you guys want to play some of the ARK plays, you guys can follow these managers on Twitter. Let me see if I can pull it up. This page is actually pretty on top of it right here. ARK Daily, if you want to type that in there, Woodford. They'll literally show all the stocks they buy every single day. So this is literally the stocks they're adding into their ETF fund at particular times. They're buying and selling stuff constantly every day to make sure that ETF is doing what they want it to do. So it's pretty cool to kind of see what they're doing. But this was obviously of the holdings on December 31st, the last of the year. Shows they added 301,000 of Tesla. So, with that being said, it kind of helps you. You can actually even play the individual stocks if you want to. But hope that helps. This is a good page to follow, though, in relation to those, those trades that are coming through that they're doing. And of course, QCLN. I don't mind sharing this watch list with you too if you want to see it. Derek says, "How do you determine upper resistance point for stocks that are at all-time highs? Pivot points." Derek. So let's say we want to see a stock here at all-time highs. What is potential for it? Well, I'm gonna of course first get my horizontal and support levels through here, and get rough estimates of some new highs, obviously right here. So if I'm gonna go ahead and throw some of my trend lines, I'm gonna go ahead and knock this out of a logarithmic. As long as I got a lot of points of contact through here. So with that being said, those could act as support or resistance as well whenever they do break. Let me change my thing here. Whenever they do break, when it bumps on these trend lines. I mean, a perfect example is Bitcoin. I charted Bitcoin yesterday and it literally bounced off of it this morning. But I'll cover that in a minute here. Some of that being said, these do get respected quite a bit, the diagonal lines. But if I want to understand where next price targets could be, I'm going to grab my 3-point Fibonacci line there. I'm going to tap on, these are pretty short candles. I'm going to do one from here, from this low right here. I'm going to grab a low. And you see the spacing on this Fibonacci, okay? You see the spacing, you know, however high or low I go, that spaces it out even more so or less, okay? So I want to make sure this little dotted line, I'm going to place that spacing on where I've got two respected highs and lows of a candle, okay? So whenever it makes sense for this spacing on this to be highs and lows on particular candles through here. Okay, I've got open and closes touching that particular high right there. So I'm going to click again, and then I'm going to bring it up off of the highs and lows right there. So that right there could give me a rough estimate. It's not going to be perfect, okay? Fibonacci lines, I want to say about 95% accurate, okay? They're not 100%, but they're about 95. It gives me as good as a potential target as I can get. So if it breaks, let's say 72.63, I can start expecting 74, 75, 76, 78, and so on as we continue going. These are obviously daily candles. To get your most, let's say, a day trading activity, you want to throw this thing up on an hourly and throw it back down, because obviously that's too much space. So if you want to delete that off of a daily, then you can do it on an hourly chart, and you can gotta get a little bit better feel of what, you know, how to get the closer the targets are, the better. So let's say we got, there's a point. So I want to say we're gonna do, yeah, that's pretty accurate right there, meaning we break 70.73. I can start looking for 77.51. This right here is an entire day's worth of action. So obviously the more you can throw it up on smaller time frames, the better it can get to see those Fibonacci lines to possibly work in your favor as far as potential targets. Obviously on a 2-minute candle, when you start seeing weakness and maybe, you know, the stock breaks a particular trend line, or, you know, is not playing along the trend, and like maybe this regards right here, you're like, okay, I'll play it as long as it plays this trend. If it breaks below the trend, I'm gonna get out of my calls. And of course, then you see trend is back to reversing in a sense in this direction here. Hopefully that makes sense. But just a rough outlining of multiple time analysis. Josh says, I don't have a position in DSGT. Is that something I should start a position now? You're asking somebody who's been in since 15 cents. I did get a message on Twitter. Some guy said he bought in at 97 cents Thursday or Wednesday or whenever it was, I guess. And he was all like hyped about it. I mean, who am I to say this thing won't hit $5, $10? You know, it could hit $2 and crash like a rock the following day. But everything that I know about it is pointing to up. So if you're going to grab here, just be cautious of it. Because like I said, there's so many people that are well below $1 that could start selling out of this thing, and it could start dropping pretty hard and heavy. In my opinion, I think it's a little late for an entry. It's not really a safe entry at all. But if you have, let's say, $1,000 in there, and you're like, hey, I'll go ahead and buy, 1,000 shares or something at $1.34, $1.50, or whatever it ends up being here, $1,500, and that thing goes to $2, it goes to $5. I mean, hell, you're turning $1,500 into $2,000 to $5,000 and so on. Depends on how much you want to risk it. Just make sure you get yourself a good stop loss for common shares. I definitely treat it carefully, but for the most part, everything on this stock is pointing very strongly as an EV stock. So from what I can say, to be honest, it won't surprise me if we do hit, $2 to $5. But it all depends on the candidates that are behind it. That's just OTC for you, unfortunately. But if you do, just play small. I wouldn't go too crazy, and just keep a tight watch on that. Banzilla says MIK and SMH look exactly like MU. Yeah, I like SMH, man. I haven't not looked at MIK though. I'll take a look at that one. Oh wow, that does look good. What do options look like on MIK? Michaels. Okay. Huh. Oh, those are rough. But $15 calls ain't bad. What if we wait on February? That's not a bad candidate, man. I'm gonna actually watch that one. I'm gonna throw that up on the list there, Banzilla. That's a possible $100 challenge candidate. Oops, wrong watch list. It's my ETF fund. I go to the A list here. All right, add it to there. Um, yeah, no problem, Zach. Hope that helped. Josh kind of figured. Thank you. Absolutely, guys. Any questions as far as anything else here, guys, before we call it a night? Alrighty, gentlemen. Well, it's been a pleasure as always. I'm excited to kick this week off. It's January for 2021. I mean, who's not excited about this one? But if you guys have any questions or things of that nature, we'll be sure to cover it tomorrow. Hope you guys get yourself a good night's sleep. You're prepared for tomorrow. And guys, I will see you guys in the morning.
Thank you, buddy. Looks good.
No problem, man. You have a good night.